Right. So our final FAQ today revolves around how you take intent data and then you incorporate it into call scripts and email templates. Any advice on that front?
Yeah, and I think this is something where, again, I hate to make it sound like another TechTarget shameless plug, but it's something that TechTarget can do through Priority Engine. In fact, one of the biggest things that we're able to do is provide contact level data against accounts, right? So, above and beyond just saying that this account's active around this set of topics, we're able to actually identify at the contact level that David Lane or that John Panker are doing research specifically against, these set of individual topics, and you can see kind of how that's illustrated. But again, the way that we look at it is being able to understand these different entry points, and that's the most important thing, right? We know that, again, from our own media consumption surveys that we run across our entire user base, in APJ and across the world, that the best way of engaging a prospect is if you're speaking specifically to something that's been happening from a research perspective. That's what's going to get them the most attention, and more importantly, through email as well too. Email is really the best medium to reach that, specifically if you're looking at it from an unsolicited perspective, right? If they don't know who you are. And this is just a really good example of that, right? Of actually putting the intelligence into practice. And this is something that we share with a lot of sales teams, BDRs in particular, as a way of again giving them that starting point and giving them a couple different ways of using that data, right? Because a lot of these contacts that a BDR or that an SDR may be engaging with may not necessarily know who that brand is or who that company may be, but by giving them the ability to use data to start that conversation, you don't necessarily have to go in cold, right? It's a little bit warmer than just, a contact that may come across your desk from a purchase list, for example.
So basically what we're looking at here is in each of the areas and brackets that are in red, you're basically filling in the blank from TechTarget's Priority Engine so that you're warming up an email, you're personalizing it in the hopes that somebody sees that as truly relevant to them and responds, correct?
Correct. I mean, if you even think about it, how you do your own purchases, right, John? Like say, for example, you're looking at running shoes. If Nike or Adidas or Asics sent you a note and just said interested in running shoes, or, have you thought about, switching over to Nike? Of course, that's something that's going to be of interest to you because it's something that you've been actively researching against. And that's that B2C principle that can be brought over to B2B as well, too. I mean, at the end of the day, these buyers are no different than, buyers who are looking at and looking for purchases in their own personal lives.
Yep. And even more to the point, I think if Nike were to send me a note that said, hey, prepare for your upcoming 5K with these great shoes, knowing full well maybe that I had registered for a 5K, all of a sudden that email becomes really pertinent to what's going on in my life, and I'm more likely to open it and respond.
Okay. Exactly. That's a really good point. And then again, just another example, borrowing off of, like I said before, using that data and just kind of to orient, right? Being able to sort of fill in that based on the brackets, right? Hi, first name, or first name, last name, or whatever it may be, and just filling that information in and essentially matching, those key topics of interest that we know that individual prospect is doing research against versus what you are trying to get them to do, right? Which is to take a meeting and give them, the most valuable, commodity, which is their time. And that's really the most important thing to think about throughout all of this. The whole idea of being able to leverage data is to be able to ensure that you're getting time, right? Time to take a meeting, time to take a video call or whatever that may be.
Yep. And I'm willing to give my time to someone who's going to spend it wisely.
Exactly.